All right, I'd like to call the meeting to order for the Nisswa Planning Commission Board of Adjustment for Tuesday, February 6th at 6 p.m. Roll call, please.
Danny Mendel.
Sean Weldon.
Josh Young.
Gary Harris.
Dave Reese.
Maggie Wentler.
Bethany Soderlund.
Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Being none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. Next, to approve the meeting minutes for January 2nd, 2024. Are there any corrections or additions to those minutes?
No.
Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. Next item is an open forum. Is there anyone present tonight that would like to speak towards something not on the agenda this evening? Okay, hearing none, I'll move on. Public hearings, I'd like to entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved. Sorry, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. All right. First item is a conditional use application 024-03 to obtain a conditional use permit for the development and expansion of an existing resort within the commercial waterfront zoning district. The subject property is located at 24621 South Clark Lake Road, PID 281-30606. Applicant Eric Larson and Norson, owner NatureLink Nisswa Property LLC. Do we have a representative here tonight? If you would come to the desk or the podium and state your name.
Eric Larson, Northside Construction.
Bethany, your staff report.
Thank you, Chair Young. The applicant seeks to obtain a conditional use permit for a resort planned unit development for the development and expansion of an existing resort as shown on the certificate of survey for the continued use of the event center, the existing beach house with sauna, spruce cabins, the cypress units, the juniper cabins, 3 single-family cabins, and the new construction of 6 duplex-style cabins and 2 single-family cabins, and the new construction of a lodge consisting of 13 dwelling units for a total of 40 units, 31 units in Tier 1 and 9 units in Tier 2.
Okay, do you want to briefly give us an overview of the plans for the project?
Sure. So Nature Link Resort is the old hockey camp. The owners put event center on it and are looking to increase the lodging on site and replacing some of the existing buildings that are on site, and then also adding some other ones. So as the certificate of survey shows, we're looking to replace some cabins on the north parts lakeside with duplex version. Essentially, it's 2 single units with a shared mechanical space. Based off of the 3 cabins that they installed when they did the event center, that same style. The 2 single family additional cabins are kind of in the middle. Those would be the same for the 3 that are just to the south. So same style there. And then down the road would be the construction of the lodge building.
Okay. Is there anyone that would like to make public comment regarding the project? Oh, hold on, could you state your name?
Sandra, I'd have to have you come up to the microphone because otherwise the people watching can't hear you.
There's a little button in the middle. There should be a green line. Okay.
Yeah, it's on.
You just turn
No.
it-
Just press it once.
the light
Is there a great light on?
Oh, the light was on.
There you
okay.
go.
All right. we'll try
Okay,
this.
start over.
I'm Sandy Potoff. I live just down the road. And I'd like to speak in favor. I think it's a good use of of the property and bringing it up to the 21st century. But I was just curious, at full capacity, what would be the number of folks you'd be able to have there at any given time? Do you know the answer to that? I was just
I
curious.
can do the math. So essentially each unit is set up for a couple. So of the 12 units we're looking at adding, that'd be 24 of the duplex units. Then there's 13 there, 26. Plus a little on the end ones. About 30 in the lodge. There's
Is there 15 in the hotel, is that correct, or 16?
There's 13 proposed units in the hotel.
go to the site plan.
Mhm.
I mean, I guess I was just curious, at full capacity, what would be the number of folks that you might expect?
Yeah, let's see. Probably around 70, I'd have to confirm, but there's in the check-in building, there's 4 rooms above that. So currently they have 8 there. 6 in the Juniper cabins. 6 in those other cabins. So currently they have capacity for 24 people. And we would be adding,
Well, with 40 units, and if they're designed for couples, that would be 80 people. If they each
Yeah,
brought their
yeah,
kids and they had 2
essentially.
kids, that'd be 160. So probably between 80 and 160 people.
80 and 150?
160,
160.
yeah, if you,
yeah,
Used
the lodge would be able to handle some kids, the current cabins, well, the duplexes that we're planning just have a king bed in them, so you're not gonna get,
so
Okay, yeah,
probably
I
more
was-
between 80 and 120
Yeah.
is what you're
Yeah.
thinking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah.
What? Because obviously, I mean, they know what they're doing. They have a financially sustainable model, but I know when we owned the resort, it was probably about a upper capacity of about 110, back in the 70s. And I'm assuming then all the septic and everything is able to handle that increase in capacity?
correct.
They did have a complete septic review last year.
Okay.
And then we have that documentation as well. And of
Okay.
course, moving forward, anything that would be done would be required to meet MPCA standards.
Okay,
Mhm.
yeah, no, I think it looks like a really good use of the property.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're the famous Potoff family.
Well, I wouldn't say famous, but yeah.
My family have had a place over on East Clark Lake Road
Oh, yeah.
since 1958, so I mean, your name is very familiar, so.
Yeah.
Any other comments? Okay. Commissioner member comments.
No, the only thing, when I was there today, I was wondering, what are they gonna do with that building? You seen it? I mean, is this like they're not done with their phases, probably more other phases coming?
Correct. You're talking at the big building on the
The big,
south?
yeah, when you first come in on the left?
Yeah, they wanna renovate it, but into what, they don't know yet, so.
Okay,
That would require an amendment of their CUP, so that would require planning commission approval for that, so at a later date.
got it.
Does the same thing go for the white building that's down at the far end of it? Where you're putting the new units in and then there's
Yes.
the white building up
Yep,
there?
Yep, so because that one's completely non-conforming, we left that one in place. We are taking 2 that are currently over the lake setback away and the new work will be within the setback. Or, past the setback, but that one we wanted to leave for now until they decide what they wanna do.
Right, okay,
So,
just curiosity.
yep.
One question that I had when I was reading through the materials, Dave had sent an email for questions. One of them was regarding a dock usage and the vegetated buffer zone. And I went back to look. He said that those questions have been addressed, but I could not find those two things addressed. Maybe Dave can shed some light on.
Various questions. The expansion of use. Docking the logical connection, so I think the docking plan that's mentioned in the staff comments.
Yep.
And then slope protection, buffer, some question. State or out of this point, state improvements.
In talking with the owners, it's my understanding that they're going to leave it as is. It's got a lot of pine trees. There's not a lot of understory growth out there. But the shoreline has been left in its original state. And so there's been no application for a shoreland alteration permit and no discussion of that. In the plan and in their stormwater plan, there is a defined vegetated buffer. So in order to alter that or to do anything, they would require a permit to do that. And as such, I would recommend that they just leave it.
Yeah, their whole concept, the resort's concept is getting back to nature. And so they want to leave as much natural as possible. Speaking to the docks, they've placed the docks where the docks have been when they took over ownership. There will be a plan submitted. But the intent is to be up at that point off of what they have for a beach and not down this way towards the vegetative slope, so.
They do have a well-defined recreation area that's been in existence for the resort for a long time. And so they do intend to use that. And they're required to have concentrated recreation area in one spot and not spread it out over the resort. So that will most likely stay like that.
Get back to the docks. When I was reading through the materials, I seem to remember, and I can't find it right at the moment, but was there a approval for 31 dock
That's for-
spaces? Is
That's
that
for
correct?
mooring spaces and so.
Mooring spaces,
Yep,
right.
so the DNR recommend, or they allow up to one mooring space per allowed unit in tier 1. And with our calculations based on the ordinance as it is today, they are allowed what they've proposed, and that is 31 mooring spaces. So
Now,
that's not,
what's a mooring space in relationship to a dock?
well, a dock, a very small, short dock would be 2 mooring spaces. It would be a boat on either side. So when you get the longer
So you could have, you
docks.
could have 4 on a dock or something. Okay.
Very easily, especially if you start having like the T shapes or just the little extensions out.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I think the concept that you've got going over here is really cool.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's, we had some friends from Minneapolis who came up and they stayed there a few weekends ago. And we didn't know it till afterwards, and they said where it was in NatureLink. I said, oh yeah, you went right by our house, you know, and you went there, but they said it was really a nice, very enjoyable weekend, and just a couple, you know, and there's a lot of convenient, there's no televisions in these, there's
No televisions, nope.
no Wi-Fi,
Well,
not that you need it anymore.
There-
but it's-
there is Wi-Fi. They use phones for check-in and access to the units, but once you're inside the unit, there's no
Yeah,
TVs
Yeah, right.
anywhere. and-
Yeah. but and they're all fairly small, you know, they're like 500 square feet, so I mean, it just looks like a really relaxing, back to nature time.
Mhm.
They all have patio doors looking out onto the lake. or window range?
Windows.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So they've all got a good lake view though. and so-
correct.
Okay.
I'm gonna circle back to the density question that came up before. Did they give an indication of what the occupancy rates have been since they started?
That I don't know.
Yeah, and I did not ask for that information.
I'm just
Yeah.
I know swinging in there before the meeting, there's people in 2 units right now. Obviously winter's gonna be their slower time, but I do know that they've had quite a few weddings booked through the event center. So
What's the cost on these smaller units, the small ones? Do you know what the rentals are
I
right
don't,
offhand? I
No.
don't see it in any of the papers,
yeah,
of course.
I
but-
don't know what the rental is. I would say it's probably comparable to the nightly rate of the other resorts in the area, but
We
Couple
can go on their
$100 a
website.
night. 500. Okay,
We can book now and we can see. Okay, it looks
Yeah.
like their rates are between 150 and 300 at this time. It looks like it goes significantly up come the summer, depending on what you're renting. So,
oh yeah, I see, okay. Thank you.
mhm.
You can see that from here? No. Need to get my eyes checked.
When was the expected construction timelines?
so the 6 duplex units we want to construct this spring, completed by 4th of July. And that's as far as I know for a phasing plan. The 2 additional, the Juniper cabins, the one not lakeside, I believe would be next, but they obviously wouldn't let us do that until probably the fall. And then the lodge, I think that's at the earliest a spring of 25 start, but we haven't circled back on that one yet. Their focus has been the duplex units.
Any other questions? Dave, did you have anything to add?
Just in general, our comments were if there's agency approvals for wastewater, water supply. That might include MPCA or county or soil and water. Those types of plan reviews.
Yep.
That they should be brought to the city.
Yeah, I believe you would need a state permit to build the lodge with the 13 units. That would require state permitting, so we would want copies of that.
This reply letter from the DNR,
Yes.
are we in tune with these 2 recommended,
The staff report was,
modified conditions?
yep, the staff report that was on the desk when you arrived today is updated with those conditions
Okay,
for the DNR requirements.
so our conditions, the way they appear in the staff report, cover those.
They do in the
Okay,
amended one. So there are 12 conditions currently. And so if you do pass a motion, make sure that those 12 are included.
Questions, comments?
I take it this package and the information is out to the Clark Lake Homeowners Association?
They were notified,
They
yep.
reviewed all this?
300 are, they were noticed 350 feet
Right, okay,
around the property.
okay.
The public notice did go out.
We've got one.
Yep.
Okay, okay. Otherwise, it could be a problem, but. yeah.
Entertain a motion. There are no more questions.
I'll move for approval of conditional use application 024-03. All in accordance with the findings of fact in the staff report. And there's 12 conditions of approval that are listed.
Second that.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Not on those. I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, moving on to new business. Meets and bounds subdivision application 024-02. The applicant proposes to subdivide a 20,245 square foot lot, tract B, from 40,485 square foot tract. Proposed parcel is zoned shoreline residential and Linden residential and is located at 26640 East Linden Boulevard, PID 282-20647. Owner Mary Bellamy Burns Revocable Trust, applicant Curtis Burns. Is the applicant here this evening? Okay.
Excuse me, I'm Terry Bentley. I am the land surveyor that prepared the certificate of survey. And subsequent to how this turns out tonight, my family's title company will be also working with the Burnses to do the transfer titles and whatever, so.
Okay. All right, Bethany?
Thank you. The applicant is proposing to subdivide a 20,245 square foot lot, tract B, from a 40,485 square foot tract as shown on the certificate of survey. This meets the required lot size for that area. The only concern that we had from planning and zoning perspective is the creation of a nonconformity with their accessory structure left on parcel B. It is conditioned that the applicant will be required to bring tract B into compliance within 12 months by either obtaining land use permits and constructing a primary dwelling on the property or obtaining a variance.
Okay, if you could briefly touch base on what the plan is here and what the applicant wishes to do.
Okay. The Burns family also used to own tract A, which we came before the planning commission a few years ago to split that up. The Burns family also used to own the lake home directly across, or directly to the south. They had planned on selling it all with one piece. But the siblings decided that, well, maybe if we can do a split, the sister would like to keep the parcel B, and one of the other siblings will keep it. There's that much sentimental value in it. They fully understand that, you know, with that being an accessory structure, she understands that they're gonna have to renovate it into a year-round residence and eventually hook onto city utilities, you know, the water, sewer and water. They're very excited about this. You know, and the family's been up there, from my understanding, many, many years, and it's a way of hanging on to it.
Okay. Any questions?
I was out there yesterday and, just trying to get my feel for what was going on out here. I assume that the monuments are in, except maybe the division line.
All the monuments
I was
are in.
looking for them. I just couldn't see anything out
Yeah,
there,
and
so.
the reason, even on my certification, you know, and I've done this many years now,
Oh, yeah, within a year. Okay.
we'll put the monuments in within a, you know,
Yeah.
it's within a year's time, no different than plating and that type of thing. And if it's approved, most likely, we'll have the stakes in shortly.
Yeah.
And what I'll do is, I've got a very close relationship, professional relationship with Lakes Area Survey right here in Nisswa. And most likely, either Paul or Eric will be out to put the pins in.
Yeah, there's quite a few existing monuments there, it looks like, so,
This was a fun one to work with, to try to make this work.
yeah.
You know, it's
Mhm.
cause I know when I talked with Bethany initially, she says, well, how we can straighten this out, straighten it out, you know, and not have the. I tell you, I worked hours on this thing, making sure we could conform to your 20,000 square feet and making it work. And,
Yeah, it makes for a very strange lot, but,
oh, it looks,
but it works.
yeah, it works. We can meet everything and it, like I said, this was an interesting one.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
This is a planning commission approval, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the meets and bounds subdivision application 024-02. Again, according to the staff report as submitted and the conditions that are attached there too, so.
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just have a couple questions. I know we will be working on preparing the paperwork to do the transfer, you know, in the family. Do you send me something saying that this has been approved, so when it comes down to reporting?
Yes, I'll reach out to you tomorrow with our next steps and what we'll need to do for that. And yes, you'll need to bring this down to land services and have them record that.
Yeah, when we do that, we'll have that. The other question is on the fee for
Park dedication fee?
yeah,
Mhm.
does that have to come in before we record, or can they just send you the, you know?
We need to receive that before we can approve it, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'll get a hold of Catherine tonight and.
Okay.
Have Kurt cut the check. Yeah, if you reach
Perfect.
out for me, what?
I will
Yeah.
give you a call tomorrow. Thanks so much, Terry.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
We had no old business city planners report.
Thank you. Over the last month, we've approved 3 permits. It's been very busy. Actually, it has been quite busy. We've got a lot of things going on right now in the planning and zoning. One of which you'll notice is in the city planner report is the downtown master plan. In our budget this year, we are seeking a downtown master plan. There's a list of goals that I've identified that we're hoping to get from this downtown master plan. And a lot of this, a lot of places that do the downtown master plan have like steering committees and things like that, and we would like the planning commission to take that place. Basically just offer any guidance and offer any suggestions through that process. We're hoping the process will wrap up towards the end of the summer, into the fall. And so we're preparing the RFP that will be before you next planning commission meeting to recommend approval to the city council. And if that gets approved, then that will go out, and then we'll hopefully be starting work on this summer.
Will that include that downtown, the businesses and the Chamber of Commerce of
All
some kind
key-
of a
yeah.
task force of some kind to,
Key stakeholders will be engaged throughout the entire process, and they'll be brought in, there'll be open houses, and we'll hope
Yeah.
to do a lot of community outreach with that.
okay.
So it's a pretty big process. We're excited to have that. The Parks Plan, Parks and Recreation Master Plan was just approved this last year in 23. So this will work in concert with that plan.
Hey, just for my own education, what would that downtown master plan, what could that include? Like, what would they be giving us guidance on?
A lot of it will be infrastructure.
Okay.
It will be design, it will be walkability, it will be pedestrian movement, it will be all the things that we've listed off here and more. Right now, we're still kind of in the early stages of creating the RFP, so there's a lot of unanswered questions, but I just wanted to give you a heads up that this was coming your way.
Gotcha.
Mhm. This was really brought on more by the 25 road bond, where we will be having substantial improvements to City Hall Street. And with that, we want to make sure that we're not doing anything that has to be redone at a future date because we didn't plan through it.
Will this include the city purchasing some properties?
Not to my
Public
knowledge.
use or for parking or,
Not involved with this plan, no.
okay.
How many RFP responses are you hoping for? I mean, when we put something like this out, we're gonna get 10,
That would be great. I know when the parks
Oh.
did their RFP, they got 2 responses.
2?
So,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
They got 2 responses.
I would love that too. At least you can compare.
Gotcha.
Might have to come from you.
Yeah. I think I can spin up an LLC tonight.
Yeah.
Now that I know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So that's pretty exciting. My hope is that we have such a vibrant community. We have such a strong chamber. We have, you don't see for rent signs out in Nisswa. So we have a lot of wonderful things. My hope with this plan is that we support and preserve those elements that we already have. I don't wish to change anything, just make sure that the future development helps support the area businesses and what's going on in Nisswa and the community.
I mean, historically, have we ever had a master plan or something like this? Or
We have not. So we have our 2030 comp plan, and that was approved in 2019. And so far, that has been pretty much what has steered development and future growth along with the ordinance. But we have a lot of aging infrastructure. We have a lot of missing elements of important infrastructure. And so we're just looking to have a comprehensive plan.
Mhm.
Things that can help bring identity to the downtown, some cohesiveness when we go and do improvements on City Hall Street. Some identity maybe for Pocket Park. I know that that's a very underused space. Placemaking would come into this just to identify areas that we can help with pedestrian. If you've been downtown Nisswa in the summer, especially on a Wednesday, the entire thing is a crosswalk. So we know that we have some parking issues and we have some walking and pedestrian and crosswalk issues.
And crowds.
And those are wonderfully high-class issues to have. And so it's a great, great thing.
Yeah, there's other cities around here that wish they had that problem.
That's right. So very grateful, but just trying to find ways that we can help.
I understand it though. There were a couple times last summer that it was really crazy.
Yep.
But
So any other questions? I would like to remind everybody that next month on March 6th is the Planning Commission meeting. It is a Wednesday. We had to move that, and that is because of elections. And so just a reminder, and I'll, big bold letters when I send out emails next month, that it is on a Wednesday evening.
It sounds like Gary will not be here.
Gary will not.
I'll miss the March meeting. Sorry about that.
Except,
Does break my heart.
I'm sure.
You can watch it on YouTube.
I'll watch it.
There you go.
I can't chime in though, can I?
Danny will be making all the motions.
I was gonna say, you and I are gonna sweat our way.
Yeah, I know.
Have to be available to the
I know.
Yeah.
Staff.
And so if you want to go sit in the hotel lobby, we can publish the address and you can,
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll,
so-
I'll give that some thought.
okay. If you want to do that, we do have the capabilities for that, so just let us know.
I'll probably settle, but I'll settle with watching it. How's that?
submit your comments prior to the meeting.
I can do that.
Mhm. Yep, and I'd be happy to read off anything in that
Okay.
instance. Mhm.
Okay,
Okay, if there's no other questions, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion is carried. Meeting is adjourned.
No building permits this month, huh? Houses?
No.